Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you very much for joining me here today. We're taking a look at RLC. And as you already know, likely, this is your one-stop shop for cryptocurrency analysis, among other things. Now, again, we're taking a look at RLC, just the technical charts, no fundamentals here. We look at Bitcoin and Ethereum first to kind of get a baseline in the market, and then take a deeper dive look at best practice and help you find a good entry point. Now, I'm not a financial advisor. This is for educational purposes only. You should always do your own research. And just know I have years of trading experience, and my goal is to ensure that you trade for a lifetime and not just for one day, right? I want to make sure that we're all better traders one day at a time. So thank you again for joining me here. And if you're interested in $25 in Bitcoin, link in the description below. I also have a Patreon account if you'd like to show your support. I will have a premium Patreon account here moving forward in the next week or two before month end for a signal group that I've had a lot of requests for from my community because I have, the time to be able to dedicate towards that. It's a big project, but it's definitely worthwhile because my subscribers are really needing that because they don't have time in the day to be able to find these signals that I do. Okay, and that's okay. That's my goal, is to hopefully help you with that. And I guess at this point, enough rambling. Let's just go ahead and check it out. All right, folks, let's go ahead and take a look at RLC. Before we do, we always look at Bitcoin and Ethereum first, just to kind of get a baseline of the market, so we know specifically how those are performing because those are the largest coins in the industry. All right, so let's take a look here at Bitcoin, and I use TradingView. First of all, this is a TradingView desktop application, tradingview.com. However, very good if you'd like to go ahead and follow along. I have the Ishimoku Cloud enabled, as well as a moving average 250, the simple moving averages here on this current chart. And what we're going to do is we're just going to take a quick look at support and resistance lines. We got a major resistance at 42,000, also major resistance at about 40,000, and it's kind of testing that right now. So we'll see what happens with Bitcoin soon, but if we can get above 40 and 42,000, we're going to be seeing some really good recovery in the market. And this is exciting. Finally, some type of movement that isn't south. Kind of nice. Now there was this descending, wedge pattern, so to speak, forming, but as you can see, it broke out. Oftentimes, when we have a wedge pattern that kind of works itself into a channel, it breaks out really hard, either up or down. And as we can see, we saw this hard increase through there, and it broke right through really fast. Another thing too is the support level at 30,000. Not much we really need to care about for that right now, but that is still a major support. All right, and then to look at, see here, Ethereum. Let's go ahead and take a look at this one here next. Ethereum also has some pretty good stuff here. In other words, we're looking at the price action being over currently the 50-day moving average. That's this yellow line here. And the 200 is soon to be tested. And I did forget to mention this too on Bitcoin. We just passed the 200-day moving average, and that's a very big milestone, and it's currently holding above. So that's a very good sign for Bitcoin. Now with Ethereum, we've got a resistance level at about 2,900, and all in all, we've passed milestone number one, and we've got two more to pass through. But if we can get over 29,000 for Ethereum, it's going to take off and continue to do very well, as it has proven to do in the past. When Bitcoin does poorly, Ethereum does well. When Bitcoin does well, Ethereum still does good. Okay, so we're going to see some price action there from Ethereum. All right, so next up, we'll go ahead and take a look at RLC, and we'll take a look at the one-day chart first. And I like to look at the one-day chart just to get quick perspective on the overall market, see what's going on. And as we can tell here with RLC, the price is well below the 50-day moving average, but above the 200. So we got kind of that little channel, so to speak, but the price is recovering. All right, so we've seen some decent amount of recovery here in the last 24 hours, which is good because we need that. And the main reason why the price has been so low for so long is because it really got way too high, way too fast. I mean, $16 up from $3 in 5 days. That is insane, right? So that's a massive retracement, but it doesn't help, obviously, that we had the Elon candle here, China candle here, and a few others as well. So obviously got hammered down, but the good thing about this here is the fact that the average true range should be much higher. Okay, so RLC should be in the range of $5 to $8, whereas it's somewhere in the range of $3.60. So I personally feel like it's still a very good investment based on this information alone. Now, I never make an investment based on just a one-day chart, but I can tell you that big picture, it has a lot more potential than we're seeing right now, and I think it's about to take off. RSI is a little bit low, which is perfect. That's excellent. So all good signals here for RLC. Now, taking a look at the 4-hour chart here, this is where things I feel are more effective. In other words, we want to look at the moving averages here. So this is the 50-day moving average and the 200 up here. And keep in mind that the 50-day moving average is essentially getting tested and rejected right now. That doesn't mean to say that it's not still a good buy, but technically speaking, price under the 50-day moving average, it's going to work as a resistance, right? Same thing with the 200. It's going to hold the price down if it comes up there and doesn't pass. So we'll see what happens here soon, but currently RLC was kind of rejected here, which isn't good nor bad. It just basically means that it's going to probably try again because the 50-day moving average will continue to come down, and I don't foresee the price for RLC coming down much further, right? I think it hit its all-time bottom, at least most recent bottom, at right around 299. Also note too, the previous here, we got a pretty strong support at about 310. So 310 is the lowest it should be. So, I mean, really, honestly, anything moving forward here will be positive. We're going to see some good movement from RLC. It's just a matter of how soon it takes off. But it did try really hard today to take off and got kind of retraced a little bit. That's pretty standard. RSI is pretty low too, which is great. All right, so let's take a look at the 1 hour chart now for the Ichimoku cloud. And that's this little guy here, this cloud, as you can see here. And honestly, when it comes to the cloud, when the price is above the cloud, that's when it's considered a buy signal. When the price is below, it's a sell signal. And when it's in between, it's essentially a no zone. In other words, we don't invest when the price is in the cloud. When the price is above, it's a good sign, right? In other words, as you can see here, it kind of worked as a support level here right at about 340 and continued upwards. So that tells me that the price being above, it is essentially still a buyer's market and that we're going to likely see it stay above for a while. Again, pending Bitcoin staying over 40,000. We need some stability in the market for a few more days to see this take off, but as you can tell, it's trying, and it's definitely doing well. It's doing this kind of, I wouldn't say staircase pattern, but it is shooting up, retracing, shooting up, retracing. So I'd expect to see a slight retracement and then it come back up again. Because RLC has a tendency of, repeating similar patterns, right? And that it happens a lot in crypto, so you want to be aware of that. But RLC has the most potential to take off based on its history, and with it being held down for so long, I think it's just a matter of time, as well as the fact that we've got the RSI still under 70 on the 1 hour chart. That's a pretty good sign. All right, let's take a look at a shorter time frame for RLC. Now, if you're not familiar with the channel, I use my two favorite indicators on the 15-minute chart or lower. The VWAP is this blue line here. That's the volume weighted average price. It takes the volume in the last 24 hours and expresses it as a price. So you can kind of see here, this little range here is 24 hours, then it resets. We've got a full 24 hours here. And as the time goes on, the standard deviation lines continue to expand and contract. So when the common rule of thumb is when the price comes above these deviation lines, you can kind of see that, then it gets retraced back down. Can you see how high it went here? Came back down right here as well, kind of held it within that range, and then it retraced. But the common rule of thumb essentially is to ensure, at least my common rule of thumb, is to ensure that when you take entry and you consider taking a position, you wait for the price action to be above EMA and the VWAP lines. Now the EMA is essentially this red line here. That's the exponential moving average. It's the same lines you'll see on a moving average convergence divergence, a MACD. Though it's essentially a 12 and a 26 that are constantly, converging and diverging, right? That gives you buy and sell signals. Well, the EMA line effectively does the same thing, only it's on the price action. So I prefer that because you can kind of see what's going on, and on a smaller time frame, it reacts a little bit sharper to essentially signal price movement. In other words, momentum in one direction or another. So when you see the price above the EMA line, it's considered bullish, and below is bearish. Now, honestly, with the price action from RLC here, it's difficult to get a read on good entry points because the fact that it increases sharply. But you see, as soon as it comes up over EMA and the VWAP, it goes off. It goes to town. So same thing happens here. So I mean, you can kind of just see pretty standard behavior from RLC. It does this a lot. It has a tendency of shooting up and then retracing. So my recommendation to you, if you were to take entry, is to wait for the price action to kind of recover and bounce off VWAP, which is done quite a few times before. When it bounces, you take entry, but you make it a really tight risk ratio. In other words, you don't want to lose very much, so you wait for the confirmation to come above, and then you make sure you hold your position only until it gets overextended. So oftentimes you wait, it comes up over 70 on the RSI, and it comes back down. That's a good exit strategy here for this. Again, normally when the RSI comes up over 70, it's not an indication of a sell signal. It's basically just an indication of looking closer to make sure you fine tune your investment, right? You never just want to sell as soon as it comes up over 70, but RLC has a tendency of, as soon as it does, because it shoots so fast and so quick, that it retraces itself back down again. Okay, so it might be a good strategy on RLC to buy as soon as the price is over VWAP and EMA, and then to also sell as soon as the price comes up over 70. I don't normally recommend that, but with its price action and its history, the way that it performs, it's probably recommended to do that. All right, so this tells me there's some whales involved here, because commonly, this isn't a normal strategy for, traders like you and I. But when we have these sharp increases and sharp declines, it's a significant indication that somebody's controlling the market, and the best way to do it to essentially be successful is to join the crowd, right? Join them when they're jumping up here instead of when they're trailing off. So as soon as you see the RSI trailing back down under 70, instant sell, get rid of your position, wait for it to come back down and come up again, right? So that's just kind of how RLC performs, I've noticed over the months. And I have been day trading this here and there, and I can tell you that it performs pretty normal there in that sense. That's pretty standard. So one last thing to look at here is just a 1 minute chart. I just want to show you the standard deviation lines here for the VWAP line. You see, as soon as it comes up over, it comes back down. Again, right here is an indication of a really strong bullish trend. So here's what I would recommend in this case. If you're going to use the 1 minute chart, the EMA and the VWAP lines, before you take entry, wait for the price to be above VWAP. Obviously, it's above now, but it's declining, so it will likely come back down, as it has before, to stay below. So if the price comes below VWAP, don't take entry, wait for it to be above. If the price action is essentially below the EMA line, do not take entry as well. So you can see here, bullish trend, it's above EMA line. Keeps bouncing, shoots up, and then came back down, right? But right now, with where it's at, it's below the EMA line, and that'll continue to push the price down, likely to be able to test the VWAP and come off of it again, right? So it should perform similarly to how it has in the past, as it keeps having the same exact trend over and over again. So wait for the price to come above the EMA line and the VWAP, and wait for confirmation. And confirmation for me is just some type of consistency over EMA. In other words, you see 2 to 3 green bars here. As soon as you see, like, just say 3 green bars closing over EMA, that's usually an indication of a bullish trend, right? So I would take entry here, of course, wait to see how it responds to bouncing off the EMA line. It bounces and stays above, all good. I'd likely add to my position here. And then once we get up to this point and we see the RSI over 70, then we sell, right? And what you do is you just take your quick profit right around 6%. Again, that's hypothetical, easy to say now because it's already happened, right? I get that. But there's a common trend here that you're seeing, and if you can make the trend your friend, right, you're going to be much more successful. So just something I like to point out, all right? So that is essentially all I have to offer here. Again, my prediction for RLC is to come up well above the point in which it's at right now. How it's going to do that is hard to say. It should likely continue to shoot up, retrace, increase, and retrace. It's been following that same pattern. So just be mindful of that. There's going to be ups and downs in this. I don't think it's going to just take off like it did that one time. We might see that if we get Bitcoin closer to 50,000. But I think that's a stretch right now at this point in time. Okay, so just be mindful of that. But generally speaking, RLC does have a lot more potential. And looking at the 1 day chart, I do foresee the price action to be somewhere between $6 to $10 here in the near future. How soon is hard to say. Again, if Bitcoin can surpass 42,000, I think that RLC will take off. That's my major consideration there, because again, Bitcoin controls the market no matter how much we like it or not. And if Bitcoin can get over 42, that major resistance level, and stay above the 200-day moving average and work its way towards 50,000, then we're going to see a lot of good progress from altcoins, but more so RLC will likely take off. Because you look at this price action back here, that was before Elon Musk pulled the plug and before China said no more Bitcoin, right? So this is what we're going to see here in the near future if we can get some kind of stability in the market. All right, so if you like and benefit from this video, please feel free to consider subscribing. Really appreciate that. Also note I'm going to have a signal group here very soon, and that will effectively offer good signals, buy and sell signals, and kind of just basically sharing my best practice with you. And that is going to be available through Telegram, of course, through the service of Telegram, but you can register for that on my premium Patreon account I will have before month end. All right. So I've been working hard on that. I'm so sorry to my subscribers. I missed our, I was actually traveling this weekend and I missed my my live stream over the weekend. So I apologize for that. We'll reschedule that for this future weekend. And of course, hope you all have a fantastic, safe, and awesome rest of the week. Thank you so much for your time. Have an amazing day. We'll see ya.